Looking to transform your family game nights? At Perfectly Picked Games, we specialize in family games that bring everyone closer. Our games aren't just fun. Kids and teens will learn how to take turns, develop basic strategy skills, and understand the thrill of winning and grace of losing. With our exclusive gift of games, you can give months of gaming excitement to your family. Choose a 3-month or 6-month gift, and we'll deliver hand-picked family games to your doorstep every month. And here's the best part. Right now, you can use the promo code GOLDENMOJO and receive 20% off your selected plan. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Use promo code GOLDENMOJO and save 20% today at Perfectly Picked Games.
Welcome to the United States of Paranormal podcast. Sit down and buckle up for an enlightening ride through everything cryptid, creepy, and paranormal.
Hello, all of my paranormal freaks out there. It is I, Golden J, hanging out with
the Rocker Chic
and
J-Dub.
And welcome to the United States of Paranormal. Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas.
Yes, we are releasing this episode on Christmas. And yes, we understand that if we have no downloads on Christmas Day, it's because you guys are busy. Yeah. But we want to make sure that we put out the best content we can for your Christmas. Your Christmas.
This is our gift to you.
It is. So, Merry Christmas. And I hope that you got what you wanted for Christmas. I keep waiting to hear that my prized possession gift has been bought and paid for yet, but
your most prized possession gift is a Rocker Chic. Hello.
Listen, I'll take a bow on that.
Nice.
So the other day we went shopping with Gunnar and Sarah and little Sophia, and we were in some store. I don't remember, was it IC or FYE or FYI or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
And the Rocker Chick found a Funko Pop of the Crow of Eric Draven. And she's like, I want to get this for you. But the box was ripped.
Aww.
And there was no other one to be found. We looked at a couple other stores.
So you want to know what he did? He didn't tell me this. So I get home and he goes, open that box. So I open the box and it's that Funko Pop. He'd bought it for himself and he goes, Merry Christmas to me.
I told her to wrap it and give it to me on Christmas morning.
No, you already know what it is.
You could have put it in a special box and be like, well, which one is the Funko Pop?
Yeah, it's all good.
I could.
I'm going to put a bow on myself, and that's going to be your Christmas gift.
That might be my only gift. I'm just saying. I spent time searching for your gift.
I can't do anything online because he sees everything. So I have to actually go out and buy him stuff. And, yeah, it's time-consuming. And maybe the day before Christmas or the night of.
Just put a fucking bow on it and let's go to town. It'll be fun.
All right.
Oh, boy.
It'll be a good time.
I
get all the fun things that I want, right?
Merry Christmas.
I said.
Not talking about it.
I'm taking my headphones off.
Did I say 2 fingers? Let's go ahead and make that 3.
Okay.
Oh, my.
Plug my ears.
What, you don't want to hear all about the fun bedroom stuff?
Nobody does.
That's because there's nothing to tell. There is no fun bedroom stuff, people. I sleep alone. Yeah, with nobody else. I said that when I sleep alone, I prefer to be by myself. What do you think?
It's those glasses have changed him into a different person.
Well, you took my other readers, and
I did.
so I got
Good to
my sunglass readers on. I feel like motherfucking Stevie Wonder over here. I just called.
Nobody's going to finish it.
It's like, okay, we're done. Shut the fucking thing off. Golden Jay's singing again. Make him stop. Hey, speaking of songs, though, did you guys hear the fucking crossover that's kind of going out right now?
No.
Do you want to hear the crossover?
Sure.
So somebody, and Skylar actually sent me this on TikTok. It's on there too, but I did find it. It's on YouTube. It is a crossover, and it's from your guys' like favorite band of all time. It's from Creed. Check it out.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names.
I knew if I played it long enough, I could just sing.
Rudolph joining any reindeer games in one foggy Christmas Eve. Oh, Santa came to say,
And the chorus gets lame.
can you take me higher?
Like, come on, guys.
To a place where snowmen see. Can you take me higher? To a place where sleigh bells ring.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sleigh bells ring thing was pretty cool.
Very
But,
nice.
I have no idea. I have no idea what that is.
That was the sleigh bells ringing.
This is another version that somebody else did, but we're gonna pass on that now.
Very cool.
Anyways, I thought that was fun. I thought that'd be a fun little add-on to the Christmas episode.
Yes, it was.
Just good stuff. What else is going on?
Did you listen to the TikTok I sent you?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to sing a little bit of that for us?
No. You can play it.
I don't have it on here.
No.
I don't have it on my laptop.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Well, hold on. Let me bring it up on my phone and stick it in the microphone. I'm sure that will work. 100% sure. Why did it go there? I'm telling you, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. All right, here we go.
Jingle bells, your butt smells, why'd you have to fart? You might want to grab some toilet paper before it turns into a shark.
Oh, my.
I sent that to him. Imagine that.
Between her sending me fart songs or fart videos or what was that, an otter or was that a rat that you sent me? It's like, I'm a sexy girl.
I think it was an otter.
And Lindsay sending me the finger. I end up finding it on my Google search, and so I don't even flip her off anymore. I just show her a picture on my
There's the snowman on the bulletin board at work, and she's like, this is going to haunt me because why do snowmen have legs? Why would that snowman have legs?
Oh, yeah. Yep. She mentioned that to me the other day.
You see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
The snowman
Why?
has legs.
Why?
You know what you call an old snowman?
No.
Water.
Boy.
Boy. All right. So everybody is having a great Christmas morning. Got to open all your presents. Hanging out with family. I know that this year we'll do in our standard tradition. We're going to go up and stay with Gunner. Get up. Everybody's going to be at the house first thing in the morning. And then, of course, the Chiefs play on Christmas, so everybody needs to get their shit fucking unwrapped, packed up, and get the fuck out because we're gonna watch the Chiefs game.
Wow.
The Chiefs are on. How about you, J-Dub? What do you guys got going on this year?
We don't get the kids until like noon, so. But I never have any presents, so it's all right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a bummer.
It is what it is.
So, do you guys unwrap each other for Christmas morning? Or?
We're not going there.
All right. Well, is it just me, or does Christmas kind of seem to become more of just a day than a?
I think the older you get, the less it's just a day.
Well, anytime I put anything in our Amazon cart, and I'm like, I'm not just putting it there because I want to come back to it to look at it again to see if I really want it. He buys it.
Oh.
All throughout the year. And I'm like, Christmas is coming up. Stop. So, I mean, I don't have them on Christmas to open, but.
But you get them throughout the season, or throughout the whole entire year.
Yeah, the whole year.
That's kind of where we're at these days. It's like if we want something, we just buy it, and then it becomes Christmas time, and they'll be like, "Well, what do you want?" I'm like, "I don't want for anything because if I need it, I get it.
Yeah.
If I want it, I get it." If the Rocker Chick wants it, she gets it. She comes in, she's like, "I got this in your Amazon cart." It's like, okay.
But I've gotten to the point where like his mom asked for a list, so like I have like the perfume I wear, so I find the biggest thing of that perfume, and put that in there, and like razors and stuff like that. The biggest thing just stuff that I can be like, pull one out and be like, oh, Merry Christmas to me. And all through the year.
And sometimes I'll tell him something like that I'll never get, like, what do you want for Christmas? A boob job?
And he doesn't want to get that for you?
No, because he tells me my boobs are perfect the way they are. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's what he should say.
Well, I haven't seen them, and I don't check them out, so I'm going to take Sean's word for that. They're perfect. There you go. See?
Yeah, like noodles.
like the snowman legs. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
What's going on there? Oh, my. Oh, anything else we want to wish our listeners this holiday season?
No, just
Be safe.
yeah, be safe.
Make good choices.
Call your relatives that you don't see.
Yeah.
Will you be calling your relatives you don't see?
I've only got like one. And I probably will call her at some point.
You better. I'm putting you on the spot right now. You got to call your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, will do.
On Christmas Day.
My brother only gets a hold of me or my parents whenever he needs something or on the holidays. So.
Well, I have a lot of people in my life that I don't really talk to as much. And it's usually holidays or birthdays, and it's a text message. And I was actually looking at one a little bit ago that I probably haven't talked to in 8 or 9 years, that I need to be in contact with him because my other friend needs something from him, and I'm like looking at his number like, I haven't talked to him in forever. I feel like a shyster to text him because, in need of something, but it's like, I don't know.
Just do it.
I know.
My brain is thinking, who the hell is that?
I'm talking about my good buddy, John Baker.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while.
We're in the midst of working out some details on an album we did in 2003. Carl he wrote it, and we recorded it. We released it. We played out on it a couple times, and it's kind of been sitting dormant for the last 20 years. You know what I mean? And he's found some things that people might be interested in picking it up for some different compilation albums and stuff like that. So right now we're working on getting everybody signed off to make sure that everybody's cool with it. And John played on a track, which is one of my all-time favorite tracks. So there's two songs in this album. It's Father and Green World, and that I really, really love off this album. And I think that those two would actually go somewhere if they're put in the right people's hands. And, you know, John's plays on one of them, and I need him to sign off on a musician for hire thing. So it's a little testy. But you can find that album. It's under Crystal Blue Armadillo anywhere you stream. Go check out the album. It was actually a soundtrack for a movie that I was in years and years ago that actually was in several what do they call the movie festivals? Film festivals. I knew it wasn't movie festival, but yeah, that's right. I've acted in movies.
Cool.
I'm horrible at acting. I'm terrible at it, but I've done it.
But you've done it.
And I've seen myself on the big screen. You laugh, but it's kind of fun. You're like, yep, that's me. God, I'm a fucking shitty actor. Oh, I die at the end of the movie, though. It's terrible. Oh, shit. Did I just give it away?
You did.
Fuck.
Now nobody's going to watch it.
I'm going to edit. I'll edit that out. I'll beep it out. Just a beep. Oh, okay. Well, we're 15 minutes in, and of course, if you want to know where the show, where this fucking story starts, it's in the show notes. You guys know this. You guys know that.
Yep.
Also, don't forget we're on Patreon as we finish out the holiday season and round on the new year. Your New Year's resolution should be to jump on Patreon and be a part of the TUSOP community.
Yes, fun.
Yes. And according to my brain, the St. Louis Cemetery, New Orleans video should be up on top tier. And I worked hard on it. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
According to your brain.
Well, you know, we're recording this before the release date, and the release date should have been the 15th.
Okay.
And today is December 25th. So according to my brain, it should have been released.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Wow. That went like way over my head.
Listen, in podcast world, we record ahead of when the episodes come out. It's not like we're doing them like the day before or anything.
Right. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard
Christmas
sometimes.
is freaking over.
Hey, we're almost to the new year. Plans for the new year?
No.
No? Man, I'm feeling for you. You want to come hang out with us? We're going to be at my buddy Scotty T's place.
Oh.
Where it's all the booze you could ever fucking want to drink. And the food is always amazing. The company's wonderful. You can come hang out with us.
So I'm going to stay home and watch horror movies.
Oh. Krampus?
Maybe.
Silent Night?
Maybe.
What was that new one that Montana was all about? That was like, it's like a year or two old now, but it was like Santa goes around killing everybody. I can't remember the name of it.
Was it the David Harbour from Stranger Things where he was Santa?
Is it a big guy?
Yeah.
Burly guy? Yeah, probably. I don't know his name. Yeah. Was that Silent Night?
I don't remember what it's called. I've seen it.
Yeah, should be interesting. So yeah, jump on the Patreon. Get on there. Help us out. We need your support. We appreciate it.
Yes,
Yeah.
please do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Also coming, the Murd Nerds is so close to being ready to get going, and hopefully I'll have a promo come out on the 1st, followed by the first block of true crime coming out of Murd Nerds in almost a year and a half. So if everything goes to play, I do have a new co-host, if you haven't heard, that's coming in. Do you know Monty J?
I do.
You think she's going to do a good job?
I think she probably will.
Okay.
I don't know. You two in the same room together? I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath. It'll be true crime right here, ladies and gentlemen. God damn it. Let's get to it. All right. Are you, so I see, we got the timestamp, we got the Patreon. Did you go to the website and get yourself a really cool Celestial Stag t-shirt? You didn't get the one for Christmas, did you? Hell no, you didn't. So go out there, order yourself one.
I have one.
I know you do. All right, so are we ready to get to today's story?
Yes.
I think so.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, you are up. It is your episode, and you drew the Christmas candy cane. I don't know what the fuck.
Do the long stick.
Yes, you did.
All right, listeners, I'm going to tell you a Christmas ghost story. This is called Dark Christmas, and it's by Jeanette Winterson. We had borrowed the house from a friend none of us seemed to know. High Fallen House stood on the eminence overlooking the sea. It was a square Victorian gentleman's residence. The large bay windows looked down through the pines towards the shore. 6 stone steps led the visitors up to the double front door, where a Gothic bell pull released a loud, mournful clang deep into the distances of the house. Laurel lined the drive. The stable block was disused. The walled garden had been locked up in 1914 when the gardeners went to war. Only one had returned. I had been warned that the high brick wall enclosing the garden was unsafe. As I passed it slowly in the car, I saw a faded notice falling off the paint-pilled door. Do not enter. I was the first to arrive. My friends were following by train, and I was to collect them the next day, and then they would settle down for Christmas. I had driven from Bristol, and I was tired. There was a Christmas tree roped on the top of my 4x4. Bleh.
On the top of your what?
On the top of my 4x4, and a truckload of provisions. We were not near any town, but the housekeeper had left stacked wood to build a fire, and I had brought a shepherd's pie and a bottle of Reyes for my first night.
Reyes! Like a bottle of ski?
Probably wine. I don't know. I probably said it wrong. The kitchen was cheerful enough once I had got the fire going and the radio playing while I unpacked our festive supplies. I checked my phone. No signal. I knew the time of the train tomorrow, and it was a relief to feel that the world had gone away. I put my food in the oven to heat up, poured a glass of wine, and went upstairs to find a bedroom. The first landing had 3 bedrooms leading off of it. Each had a moth-eaten rug, a metal bed, and a mahogany chest of drawers. At the far end of the landing was a second set of stairs to the attic floor. I am not romantic about maids' rooms or nurseries, and there was something about that second set of stairs that made me hesitate. The landing was bright in the sudden way of late sun on a winter's afternoon, yet the light ended abruptly at the foot of the stairs, as though it couldn't go any farther. I didn't want to be near that set of stairs, so I chose the room at the front of the house. As I went to bring up my bag, the house bell started to ring, its jerky metallic hammers sounding somewhere in the guts of the house. I was surprised but not alarmed. I expected the housekeeper. I opened the door. There was no one out there. I went down the steps and looked around. I admit I was frightened. The night was clear and soundless. There was no cars in the distance, no footsteps walking away. Determined to conquer my fear, I walked around a little. Then turning back to the house, I saw it. The bell wire ran along the side of the house under a sheltering gutter. Perhaps 30 or 40 bats were dangling upside down on the vibrating wire. The same number swooped and swerved in a dark mass. Obviously, their movement on the wire had set off the bell. I like bats. Clever bats. Good. Now supper. I ate. I drank. I wondered why love is so hard and life is so short. I went to bed. The room was warmer now, and I was ready to sleep.
Cried cried herself to sleep.
She was drunk, too. Why is it so hard?
The sound of the sea ebbed into the flow of my dreams. I woke from a dead sleep in dead darkness to hear. What? What can I hear? It sounded like a ball bearing or a marble rolling on the bare floor above my head. It rolled hard, then hit the wall. Then it rolled again in the other direction. This might not have mattered, except that the other direction was upwards. Things can come loose and roll downwards, but they cannot come loose and roll up, unless someone... That thought was so unwelcome that I dismissed it along with the law of gravity. Whatever was rolling over my head must be a natural dislodging. The house was draughty and unused. The attics were under the eaves where any kind of weather might get in. Weather or an animal. Remember the bats. I pulled the covers up to my eyebrows and pretended not to listen. There it was again, hard, on hit, on pause, on roll. I waited for sleep, waiting for daylight. We are lucky, even the worst of us, because daylight comes. It was a brooding day, that 21st of December, the shortest day of the year. Coffee, coat on, car keys. Shouldn't I just check the attic? The second
Don't do it.
The second set of stairs was narrow, a servant's staircase. It led to a lathe and a plaster corridor barely a shoulder width wide. I started coughing. Breathing was difficult. Damp had dropped the plaster in thick, crumbling heaps on the floorboards. As below, there were 3 doors. 2 were closed. The door to the room above my room was ajar. I made myself go forward. The room was under the eaves, as I had guessed. The floor was rough. There was no bed, only a washstand and a clothes rail. What surprised me was the nativity scene in the corner. Standing about 2 feet tall, it was more like a dollhouse than a Christmas decoration. Inside the open-fronted stable stood the animals, the shepherds, the crib, Joseph. Above the roof on a bit of wire was a battered star. It was old. It was handmade in a workmanlike, but not craftsmanlike, sort of way. The painted wood now rubbed and faded like pigments of time. I thought I would carry it downstairs and put it by our Christmas tree.
Why?
What the fuck are you thinking?
Why?
Never
No.
has this girl ever watched a horror movie.
Fucking dumb.
It must have been made for the children when there was children there. I stuffed my pockets with the figures and the animals and left quickly, leaving the door open. I had set off for the station. Stefan and Susie could help me with the rest later. So she didn't take the whole thing, just the little
She
pieces.
gonna piss some ghost off.
As soon as I was out of the house, my lungs felt clear again. It must be the plaster dust. The drive to the station was along the coast road, lonely and unyielding. The road turned into a series of blind bends and tight corners. I met no one, and I saw no one. Gulls circled over the sea. The station itself was a simple shelter on a long single track. There were no information boards. I checked my phone. There was no signal. At last the train appeared distantly down the track. I was excited. Memories of visiting my father as a child when he was stationed at his RAF base gave me a rush of pleasure whenever I traveled by train or come to meet one. The train slowed and halted. The guard stood down for a moment. I watched the doors. It wasn't a big train, this branch line train, but none of the doors opened. I waved, and the guard came over. I am meeting my friends. He shook his head. Train's empty. Next stop is the end of the line. I was confused. Had they got off at an earlier stop? I described them. The guard shook his head again. I noticed strangers. They would have boarded at Carlisle. Asked me where to get off. Always do. Is there another train before tomorrow? One a day, and that's your lot. And more than anybody needs in a place like this. Where are you staying? High Fallen House. Do you know it? Oh, we all know it. He looked as if he were about to say something else. Instead, he blew his whistle. The empty train pulled away, leaving me staring down the long track, watching the red light like a warning. I needed to get a signal on my phone. I drove on past the station, following the steep hill, hoping some height would connect me to the rest of the world. At the top of the hill, I stopped the car and got out, pulling up the collar of my coat. The first snow hit my face with insect insistence, sharp and spiteful, the little bites. I looked out across the whitening bay. That must be High Fallen House. But what's that? 2 figures walking on the beach. Is it Stefan and Susie? Had they driven here after all? Then as I strained my eyes against the deceit of distance, I realized that the second figure was much smaller than the first. They were walking purposefully towards the house. When I arrived back, it was nearly dark. I put on all the lights, blew the fire into a blaze. There was no sign of the mysterious couple I had seen from the hill. Perhaps it had been the housekeeper and her daughter, come to make sure that everything was all right. I had a telephone number for Miss Wormwood, but without a signal, I could not call her. The snow was thickening in windy swirls. Relax. Have a whiskey.
Ooh.
Get you every time.
I leaned on the warm kitchen range with my whiskey in my hand. The wooden figures I had brought down from the attic were lying on the kitchen table. I should go up and get the staple.
Not in the dark.
I don't want to, she thought to herself. But she bounded up the first set of stairs, using energy to force out unease. At my bedroom, I put on the light. That felt better. The second set of stairs stood in shadow at the end of the long landing. I felt the constriction in my lungs again. Why am I holding on to this handrail like an old man? I could see that the only light in the attic was at the top of the stairs. I found the round, brown, bake-like switch. I flicked down the nipple. A single bulb lit up reluctantly. The room was straight ahead. The door was closed. Hadn't I left it open?
You had.
I turned the handle and stood in the doorway. The room dimly lit by the light from the stairs. Washstand, nativity, clothes rail. On the clothes rail was a child's dress. I hadn't noticed that before. I suppose I had been in a hurry, pushing aside my misgivings. I went in purposefully and bent down to pick up the wooden nativity. It was heavy, and I had just got it secure in my arms when the light on the landing went out.
Oh, no.
Hello, who's there? There's someone breathing like they can barely breathe. Not faint, struggling for breath. I mustn't turn around because whoever or whatever it is behind me. I stood still for a minute, steadying my nerves. Then I shuffled forward towards the edge of light coming up from downstairs. At the doorway, I heard a step behind me. Lost my balance and put out a hand to steady myself. My hand gripped something wet, the clothes rail. It must be the dress. My heart was overbeating. Don't panic. Bakelight, bad wiring, strange house, darkness, aloneness. But you're not alone, are you?
I would have mule kicked right behind you.
How do you mule kick a ghost?
Well, I mean, you don't know if it's a ghost at that second, but
That's true.
a mule kicked that fucker.
Back in the kitchen with my whiskey, radio for impasta boiling, I examined the dress. It was for a small child, and it was hand knitted. The wool was smelly and sopping wet. I washed it out and left it hanging over the sink to drip dry. I guess there must be a hole in the roof, and the dress had been soaking up the rain for a long time. I ate my supper, tried to read, told myself it had been nothing at all. It was only 8 p.m. I didn't want to go to bed, though the snow outside was like a quilt. I decided to arrange the nativity. Donkey, sheep, camels, wise men, shepherd, star. Joseph, the crib was there, but it was empty. There was no Christ child, and there was no Mary. Had I dropped them in the dark room? I hadn't heard anything fall, and these wooden figures were 6 inches tall. Joseph was wearing a woolen tunic, but his wooden legs had painted putties. I pulled off the tunic. Underneath, wooden Joseph wore a painted uniform from the First World War. When I turned him around, I saw there was a gash in the back, like a stab wound. My phone beeped. I dropped Joseph, grabbed the phone. It was a text message from Susie. Trying to call you. Leave tomorrow. I pressed call. Nothing. I tried to send a text. Nothing. But what did it matter? Suddenly I felt relief and calm. They had been delayed. That was all. Tomorrow they would be there. I sat down again with the nativity. Perhaps the missing figures were inside. I put it in my hand. My fingers closed around a metal object. It was a small iron key with a hoop top. Maybe it was the key to the attic door. Outside, snow had fallen, snow on snow. The sky had cleared. The moon sped above the sea. I had gone to bed, and I was deep asleep when I heard it clearly above me. Footsteps, pacing down the room, hesitate, turn, and return. I lay in bed, eyes staring blindly at the blind ceiling. Why do we open up our eyes when we can't see anything? And what was there to see? I don't believe in ghosts. I wanted to put on the light, but what if the light didn't come on? Why would it be worse to be in the darkness? I had not chosen the darkness I was choosing. But it would be worse. I sat up in bed and pulled back the curtain a little. The moon had been so bright tonight. Surely there would be some light. There was light. Outside the house, hand in hand, stood the still and silent figures of a mother and child.
Ew.
I did not sleep again until daylight. And when I slept and woke again, it was almost midday, and already the light was lowering. Hurrying to get coffee, I saw that the dress was gone. I had left it dripping over the sink, and it was gone. I told myself to get out of the house. So I set off for the station. There was an air frost that had coated the trees in glittering white. It was beautiful and deathly. The world held an ice on the road. There were no car tracks, no noise, but the roar and drop of the sea. I moved slowly and saw no one in the white, unmoving landscape. I wondered if there was anyone else left alive. At the station I waited. I waited some time past the time until the train came, whistling on the track. The train stopped. The guard got down and saw me. He shook his head. "There's no one," he said. "No one at all." I thought I would cry. I took out my mute phone. I flashed up the message. "Trying to call you. Leave tomorrow." The guard looked at it. "Happen it's you who should be leaving," he said. "There's no more trains past Carlisle now until the 27th. Tomorrow was the last, and that's been canceled because of the weather." I wrote down a number and gave it to the guard. "Will you phone my friends and tell them I'm on my way home?" On the slow journey back to High Fallen House, I filled my mind with my departure. It would be slow and dangerous to travel at night, but I could not consider another night alone, or not alone. All I had to do was manage 40 miles to Ink Barn. There was a pub and a guest house and a remote but normal life. The text message kept playing in my head. Had it really meant that I should leave? And why? Because Susie and Stefan couldn't come. Weather? Illness? Is it all a guessing game? The fact is, I have to go. The house seemed subdued when I returned. I had left the lights on, and I went upstairs to pack my bag. At once I saw that the light to the attic was on. I paused, breathed. Of course it's on. I never switched it off. That proves it's faulty wiring. I must tell the housekeeper. My bag packed, I threw the food into a box and put everything back in the car. I had the whiskey in the front, a blanket I stole from the bed, and I made a hot water bottle just in case. It was only 5 o'clock. At worst, I'd be in Ink Barn by 9 p.m. I got in the car and turned the key. The radio came on for a second, and it died. And as the ignition clicked and clicked, I knew that the battery was flat. 2 hours ago at the station, the car had started the first time, even if I had left the lights on. But I hadn't left the lights on. A cold panic hit me. I took a swig of the whiskey. I couldn't sleep in the car all night. I would die. I don't want to die. Back in the house, I wondered what I was going to do all night. I must not fall asleep. I had noticed some old books and volumes when I explored downstairs yesterday. Assorted dusty adventure stories and tales of empire. As I sorted through them, I came across a faded velvet photograph album. In the cold, deserted sitting room, I began to discover the past. High Fallen House, 1910. The women in long skirts with miraculous waists, the men in shooting tweeds, the stable boys in waistcoats, the gardening boys wearing flat caps, the maids in starched aprons. And here they are again in their Sunday best, awaiting a wedding.
Waiting what?
A wedding photograph. Joseph and Mary Locke, 1912. He was a gardener. She was a maid. In the back of the album, loose and unsorted, were further photographs and newspaper cuttings. 1914. The men in uniform. And there was Joseph. I took the album back into the kitchen and put it next to my wooden soldier. I had on my coat and scarf. I propped myself up in 2 chairs by the wood fire range and dozed and waited and waited and dozed. It was perhaps 2 o'clock when I heard a child crying. Not a child who had scraped his knee or lost a toy, but an abandoned child. A child whose own voice in his last hold on life. A child who cries and knows that no one will come. I put my hands over my ears and my head between my knees. I could not shut out the sound. A locked-up child, a hungry child, a child who was cold and wet and frigid. Twice I got up and went to the door. Twice I sat down again. The crying stopped. Silence, a dreadful silence. I raised my head. Footsteps were coming down the stairs. Not one foot in front of the other, but one foot dragging slightly, then the other joining it, steadying, stepping again. At the bottom of the stairs, the footsteps paused. Then they did what I knew they would do with all the terror in my body. The footsteps came towards the kitchen door. Whatever was out there was standing 12 feet away on the other side of the door. I stood behind the table and picked up a knife. The door swung open with violent force that ran the brass doorknob into the plaster of the wall. Wind and snow blew into the kitchen, whirling up the photographs and cuttings on the table. I saw that the front door itself was wide open, the entrance hall like a wind tunnel. Holding the knife, I went forward into the hall to shut the door. The pendant metal lantern that hung from the ceiling was swinging wildly on its long chain. A sudden gust. Oh my goodness. A sudden gust lurched it forward like a child's swing pushed high. It fell back at force against the large semicircular fan light over the front door. The fan light shattered and fell around my shoulders in shards of sharp rain. Flicker, buzz, darkness. The house lights were out. No wind now. No cries. Silence again. Glass hit in the snowlit hall. I walked out of the front door and into the night. At the drive, I turned left, and I saw them, the mother and child. The child was wearing the woolen dress. She had no shoes. She held up her arms piteously to her mother, who stood like stone. I ran forward. I grabbed the child in my arms. There was no child. I had fallen face down in the snow. Help me! That's not my voice. I'm on my feet again. The mother is ahead of me. I follow her. She's going towards the walled garden. She seems to pass through the door, leaving me on the other side. Do not enter. I tried the rusty hoop handle. It broke off, taking a piece of the door with it. I kicked the door open. It fell off its hinges. The ruined and abandoned garden lay before me. A walled garden of 1 acre used to feed 20 people, but that was a long time ago. There were footprints in the snow. I followed them. They led me to the bothy, its roof patched with corrugated iron. There was no door, but the inside seemed dry and sound. There was a tear-off calendar still on the wall. The 22nd of December, 1916. I put my hand in my pocket, and I realized that the key from the nativity was there. At the same point, I heard a chair scrape on the floor in the room beyond. I had no fear anymore as the body first shivers and then numbs with cold. My feelings were frozen. I was moving through shadows as one who dreams. In the room beyond, there was a low fire lit in the tiny tin fireplace. On either side of the fire sat the mother and the child. The child was absorbed playing with a marble. Her bare feet were blue, but she did not seem to feel the cold any more than I did. Are we dead then? The woman with the shawl over her head looked at me with deep, expressionless eyes. I recognized her. It was Mary Locke. She nodded at me, or at not me, at some other me in some other time. I do not know. Her gaze went to a tall cupboard. I knew that the key fitted this cupboard and that I must open it, and I did so. A dusty uniform fell out, crumbling like a puppet. The uniform was not quite empty of its occupant. The back of the faded wool jacket had a long slash where the lungs would have been. I looked at the knife in my hand. Open the door! Are you in there? Open the door! I woke to a blinding white. Where am I? Something is rocking. It's the car. I'm in my car. A heavy glove was brushing off the snow. I sat up, found my keys, pressed the unlock button. It was morning. Outside was the guard from the train and a woman who announced herself as Miss Wormwood. Fine mess you made here, she said. We went into the kitchen. I was shivering so much that Miss Wormwood relented and began to make coffee. Alfie fetched me, she said, after he spoke to your friends. There's a body, I said, in the walled garden. Is that where it is? Said Miss Wormwood. At Christmas 1914, Joseph Locke had gone to war. Before he left for Flanders, he had made a nativity scene for his little girl. When he came back in 1916, he had been gassed. They heard him climbing the stairs, gasping for breath through froth-corrupted lungs. His mind had gone, they said. At night in the attic where he slept with his wife and child, he leaned vacantly against the wall, rolling the child's marbles up and down and up, pacing, pacing, pacing. One night just before Christmas, he strangled his wife and daughter. He left them for dead in the bed and went out, but his wife was not dead. She followed him. In the morning, they found her sitting by the nativity, her dress dark with blood, his finger marks livid at her throat. She was singing a lullaby and pushing the point of her knife into the back of the wooden figure. Joseph was never found. "Are you going to call the police?" I said. "What for?" said Miss Wormwood. "Let the dead bury the dead." Alpha the guard went out to see my car. It started the first time. The exhaust blew in the white air. I left them clearing up and was about to set off when I remembered I left my radio in the kitchen. I went back inside. The kitchen was empty. I could hear the two of them up in the attic. I picked up the radio. The nativity was on the table as I had left it. But it wasn't as I had left it. Joseph was there, and the animals, and the shepherds, and the worn-out star, and in the center was the crib. Next to the crib was the wooden figures of a mother and a child. The end.
That was really good.
So what did her friends tell the guard?
You'll never know.
Where's part 2?
Some things were left undone. Maybe I just didn't know the part of it. No, I didn't. But
That was good.
there you go.
I gotta admit, I'm glad you decided to go with that over
And
the
not
Shmee.
Smee.
Yeah,
Not Shmee.
yeah. I didn't think Shmee was bad. I mean, I thought it was going to be a rough tell, but that one was really, really good.
All right. Cool.
It definitely kept me intrigued the whole entire time. I was waiting for her to drive off the edge of the cliff.
Oh.
That was where I was starting with it, because you talked about it being winding and
Yeah.
and all that, but
And for the what is it, the housemaid lady to be like, "Oh, that's where it is."
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they have checked in there? Like, if they couldn't find Joseph, wouldn't you like look everywhere?
They didn't know where the key was.
It's hiding in the nativity, yeah.
Well, why did Mary pick this girl to find him?
Probably because she was all alone. Maybe there wasn't a lot of people that stayed in that creepy house.
Yeah, they left first night.
Was that an Airbnb? Because that is one shitty Airbnb. If it's fucking you go upstairs and the plaster's falling
Well,
off the
if
ceiling.
you remember, the first part of it was we had borrowed the house from a friend.
Okay.
None of us seemed to know.
I missed that very beginning.
Were you not paying attention?
I was.
You can reread it later.
I'm gonna. Well, yeah.
Maybe
I'll
this will
listen
be one of those episodes that people will go back and re-listen to, be like, "What? I must have missed that."
We need a part 2.
Well, for part 2, you're gonna have to come back next Christmas.
No, I can't wait that long.
Oh,
That was good.
it was good.
Well,
Good yum.
I will say a special thanks to Jeanette Winterson, who wrote it. So,
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that because I was listening to how she put the story together. Because I've been trying to put stories together for Murder Nerds, and I'm taking a 101 class in writing apparently. Because but I mean, very well put together.
yeah,
A couple words I didn't quite understand.
I might not have pronounced them right either, but I think it's.
No, I think it's just me. It's okay. It's not you,
Words
it's
are
me.
hard for Golden Jay.
It is words, talking, directions. Just shit like that.
all
So.
of it. All of it.
All right. Well, good job.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sure I'll get emails about how the rocker chick could fucking read the goddamn phone book to you, and then
Yeah.
people would love it.
Yeah.
You know what that means? This next step is erotica podcast.
Oh boy.
We'll turn the lights down low and turn some fucking candles on. It'll be great. You'll love it. So yeah, nice job. But I hope everybody has had a Merry Christmas.
Yes.
By the time you listen to this, it's probably, all the festivities are probably over, and you're kind of a day or two after. So we hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, and, as we truck on to the new year, we want to make sure that you're safe and responsible for the new year. So if you're going to go party somewhere, either have a DD or stay there.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad news. We don't want to lose our listeners in any way, so especially that way. So, yeah, thank you guys for being a part of United States of Paranormal this year as we round out the end of 2024. And we hope you stick with us for 2025. Yeah?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Go check out the website for all of your fun, exciting merchandise. Of course, we're always working on new stuff, so you never know what might be next. Go check out the Patreon. It's patreon.com/2sop. Or you could email us with your, what did you guys get for Christmas? Let us know.
Christmas gift list.
The United States of Paranormal at gmail.com. Did you get something unique? Did you get something cryptid, creepy, paranormal? Did you get that Ouija board you've been wanting? I saw a cool one this last weekend. Where were we that we saw? It was all painted up with fairies and shit on it or something.
We were at some store in the mall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're out there, peeps. Must have been Spencer's.
No, it was the Celtic store.
Oh, that's right. It was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was an interesting store.
Yes, it was.
I like those hemp sweaters they have.
Yeah? I'd have to see one to know exactly what you're talking about, but
Like the pullovers?
Yeah.
right on. It's like what is that? A
Cereba? I don't know.
sriracha? Cereba?
Like what Woody was wearing at the
Right.
party.
All right. Well, while J-Dub looks that up to show me a picture, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. So thank you, everybody, for everything in 2024. We totally are looking forward to you in 2025. We do get one more episode before the end of the year. Oh, yeah. You got an ad that popped up on there in front of there. They look comfy. If you're on Patreon, she just put it up to the camera.
We have all kinds of colors. Okay.
All kinds of colors.
Distracted.
All right, gang. Until next week, keep it spooky, and I'll see you on the other side.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the United States of Paranormal podcast. Check us out at theunitedstatesofparanormal.com, where you can find our Spotlight of the Month, Fan of the Month, and all of our amazing merchandise. Or you can find us on social media at Facebook at the United States of Paranormal, Instagram at the United States of Paranormal, and YouTube at the United States of Paranormal 1795. And don't forget, we are now on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/2sop.
Please check out the other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network of podcasts. The Call Guys, Golden Image Podcast, Indiana Chiefs Fans, Golden 80s, The Gridiron Kings, Murd Nerds, and A Quart of Books and Booze, all of which can be found at goldenmojoent.com or wherever you stream your favorite podcasts.
And if you have a location or a story that you would like for us to check into, please email us at the United States of Paranormal at gmail.com. Please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you listen. Thank you for all of your support. Bye.